In many companies, interview questions contribute to bad hires. But why does that happen? It's the checking of the boxes. You've probably experienced this in some point of your life, some aspect of your life, where you get used to doing something, and after a while you can be on autopilot. I know that's certainly true when I drive. I don't think about all the aspects of driving as when I first learned to drive. I had to think about turning while stepping on the brake or the accelerator, not turning too far, and oh yeah, you got to turn on the turn signal. All of that becomes automatic. Well, the same thing happens with interviews. After you've asked the same series of questions over and over again, you're on autopilot. And what happens when you do that? You're not paying attention to the details as much as you used to. Now, I'm not suggesting you throw out your interview questions. I think executives, I think managers, I think employees all should have talking points and interview questions to refer to. What I'm suggesting you do is use those as a guideline, but instead have a conversation with those guidelines in the background that you glance at every now and then while having a conversation versus letting them rule the conversation. And as you have this conversation, I'm suggesting you have just one really good question to get you started, and then take the interviewee's answers and just frame those into additional questions. Now you might be wondering, what's that one really good question? I'll tell you one of my favorites. It's incredibly simple. Why do you want to work here? Why do you want to work here? It goes to motive, and motives drive people's behavior. Now, if you ask that question, they're going to give an answer. And if you take their answer and just put that in your next question, and then they give another answer, and you take that answer and put it in your next question, something like this. So why do you want to work here? Because I've always admired your company. What do you admire about our company? Well, the social responsibility that you take in the community. Why is social responsibility important to you? Because I've always lived my life with social responsibility in mind. Well, where did that come from? Why is that important to you? Well, it's how I was raised with my parents and my family because they taught me social responsibility. So how would you apply that social responsibility if you worked here? Notice, I'm digging fairly deep, asking legal and ethical questions, but I only had one planned question. Now, that first question, it was short. It was a launching question. Questions that are 12 words or less launch people into giving more details. Why is that? They understand your question so quickly, they think more about their answer. And then if every question I ask thereafter is also short and provocative, I get great details. If I do that, I'm having a real conversation that's keeping me present, going deep into who they are and what they do in that phone interview probably, because this is where I prefer to do this. And then I glance at that list of questions, making sure that, yeah, I do check the boxes, but I'm not doing it in an autopilot kind of way. The one question interview, and look, it's not really one question, but it's one question that guides the interview, and you've got the other one so you can check the boxes. This is how you go deep and you go wide. You get into somebody's background, somebody's motives, somebody's skills, verifying in that phone interview that they're worth bringing in, to then check out further, to look, can they do the job and do it well? So go try that one question interview, and I say try it. Go try it with somebody first. Practice it with one of your colleagues. You'll see how easy this is, and then you can apply it to an actual phone interview.